apartment. And one day she sees me having fun with this girl. She decides to text me and she's like, hey, since it's July and you're leaving the first week of August, can you pay me for the whole month of August? Then I'm like, why would I pay you for the whole month of August if I'm leaving on the 10th? Then she's like, okay, we were going back and forth. And she's like, okay, send me money for the... Let me tell you, this story is very long. I'm just trying to summarize it. She's like, send me money for the water you use, for the fridge you use to charge, to put your food, for the electricity you use to charge your phone, for the water you use to shower, for this and this. And I was like, damn. And then she was like, I was like, okay, if that's the case, I'm going to come and get my stuff. She was like, don't come to my house at this time. So I'm like, okay, this girl has my stuff and she's acting like this. So I'm like, I'm not trying to go, because my feelings are all over the place. I'm like, this is America. You fight, you go to jail. I'm like, I'm not gonna fight. Let me take myself to the police and tell the police everything. And then the police were like, she has no right to hold your stuff, because at the end of the day, it was a non-verbal agreement. She has no right. So we get our stuff. I get my stuff and I move into my friend's apartment for the last 3 days.
Did you end up paying her?
No.
Yeah.
The police said I don't need to.
You shouldn't even have paid her for the first couple of...
Yeah, so she did so much to me. Sometimes when I was talking to my therapist and I was telling my therapist my homesickness doubled, and imagine the fact, as I said, I'm my mom's only child, and I'm imagining she was staying with her grandmother, and I said I grew up in my grandmother's house, and I said, what type of grandmother is this? Her grandmother was bad because there was another boy who stayed in that house, and the grandmother was mistreating the both of us. The grandmother had this thing where she didn't want you sleeping past 9 in the morning or till 11, and she'd have this thing where people are sleeping in the morning. Mind you, we all worked. She'd wake up and start playing compa, Haitian music. So that's why till today, no offense to anyone, whenever I hear compa or any Haitian music, I get triggered really bad. I get triggered so bad, and then that's when my friends are like, Ray, you need to go for therapy. I get I stop, I can be walking and I'd be I think about everything I went through in the house, because I'm not even saying everything that I went through in the house. It was really bad. So whenever I would hear that type of music, I would get triggered, and then she'll be like, stop sleeping now. I've worked every day, and then I sit on the dining table. She's like, you're not supposed to be sitting on the dining table. That's where the food is supposed to be. And then the girl is like, oh, you can go and sit in the sitting room. So now I'm sitting in the sitting room, I'm picking my classes. The grandmother is like, oh, don't sit in the sitting room. So now I'm in my head, I'm like, no, what am I supposed to say? It was a 2-bedroom small apartment. Those are the small things she would do. That grandmother was really bad. And that's the thing that was triggering me. I was mistreated in that house. Me and that boy were mistreated in that house. I remember he came back to Albany and he came to see me with his now wife. They got married, and he was telling me, I don't know how we did it. We were really mistreated by the grandmother. The grandmother was evil, and the girl was supporting her evil, her evilness. They were both very bad people. You look at the things they do, you look at how they treat me. It was just really bad.
Is this person a student in the university?
She left. She doesn't. I don't even know what she's doing with herself. We stopped being friends. I blocked her everywhere. So that was one of the things was I need to go home. I need to go home. That's when I started missing home more. That's when I was I'm tired of American food. I'm tired of America. And then that's when I started crying, because I was treated so badly, and I'm staying with a girl and her mother and her grandmother. And that's the same dynamic for me at home. It's me, my grandmother, and my mother. Nobody can ever say they've come and stayed with us. I can literally be like, we judge or treat people like this. Everybody knows my grandmother has a big heart. Nobody can ever say my grandmother mistreated anybody. So in my head, I'm I would always compare, and then I'll call. There was one time I couldn't take it no more, because traditionally as Africans, you can't sleep in the same room as a man you don't know. It's not safe for girls. I don't even think it's only an African thing.
Yeah, I think it's a universal. That's just supposed a universal.
So this boy that they had brought to the house, the one we all suffered together, I didn't know him. I was sleeping in my friend's room on the floor on an air mattress. The grandmother didn't want me to be in the same room as her granddaughter, so she was like, take your air mattress and go sleep in the living room with this boy. I don't know what this boy is. So I'm like, why does she want me to go sleep on the floor with this boy? and I don't know who he is. So I was feeling a particular type of way. Like, that was like, no, I can't do this. I don't know who this boy is. Like, what if he touched me? Like, I don't know who he is. Like, I was panicking. Although he didn't do anything, but like, you get what I'm saying. And like, I'm like, this is a woman, and I'm not doing anything in her room on her floor. She just doesn't, like, it's like me doing anything in that room was contaminating it. And I started crying. The grandmother because the grandmother couldn't speak English, she could speak Creole. Is that the language?
Creole.
Yeah, she would speak Creole, so she would always be saying stuff, and like, they're not translating it to me, but I know she was talking so much shit about me, like, and I was crying. And there reached a point where I had to call my grandma, because I was like, God, if I don't call anybody that I love right now, I'm going to crash out. So I called my grandmother. My grandmother started praying for me on the phone. Praying for me. And then now, when my friend told her grandmother that this grandmother is praying for her on the phone, she was like, why is she praying for her on the phone? That's when I said I need to start praying more, because she had my grandmother praying on the phone. And she was like, why are you telling... She was like, why is this girl calling her grandmother and telling her these things as if we're mistreating her? What do you mean as if we're mistreating her? I could go to work, I could get texts about, oh, why did you drink the juice in the fridge? And then when I be like, okay, let me buy my own juices, everybody wants to have juice, why are you buying your own juice? They would go out sometimes and buy themselves food. They sit down and they eat their food. I don't even ask. But then now, me, one time I went to Irie Vibes, a Jamaican restaurant, and I bought myself food. It was a huge, like, I'm not going to, if I talk about how my summer was those 3 months, it will take up the whole podcast. But all I can say is, like, that summer made me realize how homesick I was. And like, because as I said, I'm a very prideful person. How I don't like feeling bad. I don't like feeling like my problems, like, control my life or overtake me. But then that summer, like, everything just came tumbling down. I'm being mistreated, mentally and emotionally mistreated. Like, a lot of stuff is happening, and like, there's nobody here. And it made me like even dislike my relatives. Not even, why am I being nice? Hate my relatives even more, that you guys are my blood and I'm here suffering like this with these people. And I was just really homesick. So that's when I cried. And then that's when I left that scenario, I stopped talking to that girl. And then that's when I started now having trouble staying with people. Like, everybody, like, till now, although I'm working on it, if I stay with people, I get bad anxiety, because I start overthinking, am I doing this, am I doing something wrong? Like, even walking to the kitchen at night, like, I get scared. And now my friends know that, like, my best friend, I love my best friend, her mom knows this, and they always kept on reassuring me, Ria, you're fine, Ria, you're fine, Ria, you're fine. But even with my best friend, and I know they are good people, they're not gonna do nothing to me, I'm still scared. Like, it's still something that bothers me. Like, if you, like, literally people can be like, oh, Ria, come for a sleepover. When I was younger, I used to love going for sleepovers. Now I'm like, I don't want to even go to, like, I can't, like, I'm scared because I get that trauma. And then I be like, and then I start getting homesick. I'm like, damn, but my mom wouldn't treat me like this. So, like, yeah, that's what made me go for therapy. Like, I talked to someone and they're like, you have trauma. And then last semester, I was walking, like, I realized that sometimes I can be walking, then I can be like singing, and I can be thanking God that He has brought me this far. And then I'd be like, but remember, God, I went through this. Like, the conversations I'd be having with God, I'd be like, God, remember, I went through this. And then I find myself dead in my tracks thinking about that summer. Then I'm like, nah, this is trauma, I need to get help. So I took myself, no, I'm lying, I didn't take myself for therapy. So I started overthinking about a lot of stuff. Homesickness, graduation, school fees, and like, just like everything that I have been through. And then one day I wake up, it was during Thanksgiving when Jaden had invited me to go to his friend's place. My left side was hurting, my leg was hurting, my arm was hurting, and then when I would stand, I would feel dizzy. So it happened for like 3 days. And then sometimes I'll wake up and my left side is completely paining. I haven't gone to the gym. I couldn't go to the gym because I had a stomach problem, which was also caused from stress. Let me tell you how bad stress is. I had a stomach problem. What is it caused from? They do all the tests to see I have H. pylori infection, what. They diagnosed me, it's stress that's causing this. So then one day I wake up, my left side is completely painful. My head hurts. I'm like, you know what, Ria? Call the ambulance. So it was during finals week in December. I called the ambulance. They're called 5 quad. They come here. They take my temperature. They're like, your temperature was it at 102? It was either like you have a fever. They
that's very high.
They take yours, and then when they took my blood pressure, mind you, my mom's side of the family has a history of blood pressure, and my father passed away from heart disease. That scared me. They told me, Ria, he measured the first time.
Yeah.
He didn't say nothing. Then I'm like, how is my blood pressure? Because I know the normal blood pressure is 117, 18, 24. Is it high, like 32? Something like that. When they told me your blood pressure is on 172, I was like, oh my God. Then they're like, okay, so they started like doing the test to see if I have a stroke. Because like I was saying like this, so they're asking me, say something, squeeze, do this. I was showing no stroke-like symptoms, but I was scared because it was giving stroke symptoms.
Yeah.
And they took my blood pressure 4 times.
No, 4 times is crazy.
Because my blood pressure, do you know how high 172 is? 172 is very high. So they take me straight, and then now the doctor is looking at my blood pressure. Then he's like, what's going on? Then I start talking. He gives me a Valium, and then he tells me we've diagnosed you with anxiety. I was like, oh, this is real. I was like, this is real. Like, they gave me papers. They were saying, you need to talk to someone. You need to pray. The nurse came and was like, I pray. And at the time, I was working at a very toxic job. I was like, okay, this is yours. I said, you know what? Ria, when you get the signs that things are above you, you need help. So I started going for therapy. And those are one of the best things that could ever happen to me. But like, you see what homesickness did to me? Yes, a lot of things happened, but like the homesickness, like I was like, I need to go home. Like sometimes I'll break down crying. I just want to go home. I'm tired of America. I'm tired. I just want to go home. I'm tired of struggling. I'm tired of taking care of myself. I want to be taken care of now. Like you want to be grown so bad. I was like, you wanted to be grown so bad. I was like, no. Yep, it's time for me to go home. But then now, you see, I started praying more. I've always prayed, but like, you just praying more. Anybody who knows me knows I'm a believer of Christ. I'm a follower of Christ. I don't go to church, but one thing I can tell you, I've always prayed. I've always thanked God. I read my Bible. I've just finished doing a 30-day streak with my cousin of doing Bible study. I tell you, like, I feel like God does everything for a reason, and I feel like, yes, I got anxiety and stuff, but I feel like my whole perspective in America has gotten better, and like I've gotten stronger, like I've gotten more mature, like my life from that summer to now has completely changed, like it has turned around for the better.
Yeah.
But like homesickness is not a joke, especially if you're in an area, like I told you, it started with my first roommate. She was from Trinidad, and how she was acting to like now my friend, to me not wanting to be at people's houses at all. The only place like I can be is my mom's house, like when I go back to my grandma's house. So yeah, that's technically what happened to me. Like, yeah. And I'm not even said everything. It's bad. And I'm here laughing. It was really bad.
I feel like I definitely respect you for that, because I mean, like she said, I, by God's grace, had the opportunity to go back home once in a while. And that wasn't given enough. So I can't even imagine staying on a continuous 3-4 years that side. Because it's a lot. It definitely takes a toll on you. And it's really unfortunate that you had to go through that. Trust me, it's
bad.
It's bad, and it comes back to what I was talking about and saying earlier on, like, it's those small things that are building up. Like, you were used to a certain type of food and you can't get it anymore. In itself, it's a small thing, right? You miss home. You're sleeping on an air mattress. These are all like mutually exclusive events that are small, but then they come together and they're just like building up inside of you, right? That the smallest event, which in itself is very small and people think it's like, totally something that's crazy. Like what she's saying, like, once she listens to compo, I don't know, the Haitian music, right? For somebody it's like, it's just music, but for it's like so many things have been happening, and then that final, tip on the iceberg, it just brings everything crashing down And that's the biggest thing about being an international student. It's like you have to endure so many things, and during that time they seem like they're very small, and it's like small events that are just happening, and they make you thankful for them, but they're accumulating, they're coming up, they're coming up, they're coming up, and they're building up, and before you know it, it just bursts. It just bursts. Because I can say I had a similar experience. My experience was just the first time that I spent alone was Christmas. My first Christmas in the States, and I don't really like reflecting upon that, because for me it was like, it's not even anybody mistreated me or anything, because I didn't even have anyone to do that. It was just me. I traveled to New York City. You know, it's a surreal moment seeing what is it called, Times Square, because that was like my biggest, that was my biggest goal. I'm like, New York City, everybody talks about New York City. What's famous about New York City is Times Square. Everyone wants to go to Times Square. I go to Times Square. I thought it was going to be this beautiful, surreal moment, but it just hits different when you realize I'm in Times Square in the middle of Christmas. That's the most beautiful time that you can be there. And there's nobody to take a picture of you. Like, everybody's just there with their families. They're doing family trips, and it's just you. And that was the first time that I got scammed by this South African photographer. Yeah, he just walked up to me the moment that I opened my mouth. Like, oh, my brother, I realized from your accent, are you from South Africa? I'm like, nah, I'm actually from Zimbabwe. And the moment that I say that, it was raps. I don't know how much he charged me for a single photo. I think it was like 45, 50.
No, I heard they charge like $10. Is it 20 there for those pictures?
It was like 45, 50 bucks. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna do a special thing for you since you're my brother from, Zimbabwe. Just give me 60. Just give me all the money that you have, and I'll give you all the photos. I won't even do anything. And I was, and I think it just comes down to what I'm saying, the culture shock, and the like, okay, so I've met somebody from
back home,
similar, and they take advantage of you, in that position you think they're actually doing you a favor.
So he disappeared after you paid it?
Yeah, and you did give me the pictures, and I posted them on my Instagram too. I'm like, but there's no way these photos were worth the money that I paid. Right, but in the moment it seemed like, somebody's actually doing me a favor in the middle of a place where nobody seems to even care what I'm doing. Like, people are just doing their own thing. There's really nobody that can take my phone and take some pictures of me. It's those small things. So I remember I was like, no, this is the last time that I will ever do this. And I came back to Albany on Christmas Eve. No Christmas Eve, but the night of Christmas, and the campus was quiet.
Yes, Christmas.
Campus was quiet. Indigenous, it was so quiet.
There was nobody else there doing
there was nobody else. And that was my first time crying in the States. Like, that was my first time. I'm not even gonna lie, in full transparency. That was my first time crying, and that's when I promised. I remember I went down on my knees and I'm like, God, I promised myself I'm not gonna feel this way again. I don't wanna feel like this again, and I've never felt like that again, because I put specific boundaries and measures that, like, I would never feel this way again.
Speaking about boundaries, like, after that whole situation with that summer, like, my boundaries got really firm. Like, people started telling me, Ria, your boundaries, like your standards, and my boundaries, especially when it came to like friendships or like family members, like my boundaries are firm and set firm. Like, you're not going to piss me off, and you're not going to disrespect me, and you're not going to make I know people make mistakes, but like there's a level of disrespect that people tend to forgive, and when you keep on forgiving, people will keep on hurting you and doing the same things over and over again. So me, whenever I'm like cutting somebody off, I pray, God, show me a sign. And every time have you ever heard of this saying where they say one of the strongest prayers is when you ask God to show you if this person is supposed to be in your life or not?
Yeah.
So before, but then I said boundaries, and people then started saying, Ria, we want to be like you, we want to have boundaries, like you don't let people walk over you. They don't understand that I went through a traumatic experience where I let a friend take advantage of me and then was just like ignoring the small red flags, and then ended up staying with her, and she treated me so bad. Like, well, I remember how the grandmother hid toilet paper and was giving everybody a roll in the house of toilet paper, and then lying so that I don't have toilet paper. No, talk about it. I just laugh. Like, that grandmother was evil.
Yo, it's giving Nollywood.
And I know how to cook, so whenever I would cook, she wouldn't even touch my food. Like, I cooked 3 times, she didn't even touch my food. She didn't want to eat it. I remember there was a time she got sick and they were treating me badly, so I brought her like fruits and stuff. She didn't even eat it. She threw it in the trash bin. I said, this woman. I think I was even in those movies.
You gotta thank God you came out alive, because
I know it was messing up my mental health. And then I remember
it's giving Maya Zuka.
I remember how I used to talk to Naomi. Naomi is one of my friends who I made freshman year. I talked to Naomi every day that summer, and I think she felt what I was going through, because even if you talk to Naomi now, she'll tell you that summer was bad. That summer was really bad. It was a bad summer. Like, I really went through a lot that summer. But like, then after that, I got down on my knees, as you said. I remember when I got into my dorm, it was a single room, you know, and I was like, God, I thank you for this. And I broke down crying after I cleaned my room. I prayed to God and I said, God, I will never let anybody take advantage of me again. I will never let myself be mistreated again. Please, God, give me a job where I can take care of myself completely now. And when I tell you, from there, my independence went up. Like, I've been taking trips. Ask. I've been going, you know. I don't need to worry about where am I going to get money to pay my phone bill. It's always sorted. I bought myself a new phone. I've been taking, and it's with God's grace, because I said, God, I'm setting boundaries, I'm setting standards for myself. I'm not going to allow myself to. I believe there's a reason for everything. I believe me going through that caused a serious, huge character development and made me stronger. I wouldn't want that to happen to even my worst enemy. That's how it really bothered me. But like, homesickness is not something I wish on anyone. And that's why I said, you know what, God, I believe there's a reason for everything. And then that's why I said, I just need you in my life. And then from that day till now, things are still hard, you know. As I said, I had to go for therapy, but like, I feel like the trajectory in my life has just been going better and better and better. Boundaries have been set, standards have been set. I've been praying more, and like, boundaries. In America, you need boundaries. As it's like, remember you're saying how some girl came and touched him, he had to hold this, like, he had not set firm boundaries on himself. Boundaries in this country, boundaries that lead to standards. That's what you need.
Yeah, and that's definitely one thing that I see people lacking, because it's like the smallest of things. I was like, I'm gonna set boundaries for myself, but for me to set boundaries for myself, I had to make certain adjustments within myself. I realized I was lonely, and the reason why I was lonely was because I wasn't really comfortable with myself. And I remember after that time, that Christmas, that was the first time that I decided to really lock in the gym. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do things by myself. I'm gonna make sure I'm comfortable by myself, so that I don't find myself in certain situations just because of that, you know, that fear of being alone. And from there, that was a very life-changing realization, right? Because once I feel like people can really see when you're insecure, and people can really see when you're very vulnerable.
Yes. Love yourself.
And that's one thing I would like to believe most international students you experience at some point. You might not experience it all the time, but you definitely have had some time where you've been vulnerable. And people can tell, like, this person is not from here. And you know, it's funny because we've been doing this in psychology. You know, when you get to a new place, even when you know that you're right, just because you're in a new place, you can conform to certain things and let people lead the way just because they're from that certain place. It's called like imposter syndrome. And that's one thing that I definitely had freshman year.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, everybody is from the city, everybody's from here, so automatically I put them on a pedestal. I thought they were superior to me, and that's the biggest mistake that I made. And by God's grace, I feel like I managed to, adjust that with other people from my country coming into it. I think that was one of my biggest prayers that was answered, because I remember I was like, God, it's already been a year, and I can't even count all my friends on one hand. How is that even possible?
Yeah, I'm graduating now, and like I can count on one hand how many close friends I've had. But then back home, the funny thing is, back home, the friends I had from primary, secondary, I'm still good friends with them till now. But then most of the friends that I made when I came to university, I don't have them anymore.
It's crazy. I thought it was just a me thing, but it comes back to what I was saying. The individualistic thing of America is like the friendships, the relationships, everything is very transactional. Once you're not able to meet up certain standards, or once you're not able to give to a certain extent, they just disregard you and disregard the past track record of the things that you have done or whatever it is, just because of that one current event that you can meet up to a certain thing. And I find that very crazy. I find that very crazy. But also, I have met some people who were really shocked by the sense of community that we have, especially as international students. So I'm like, I say it, and I feel like I'm very transparent. Everybody that knows me knows the fact that I'm a very family-oriented person. So once I got my family from Zim, we were very like tight like this. And that's when for the first time I got to realize people actually admire that, or people actually want to be a part of that. From America, like from the States, some of my friends are like, I remember when we had our first cookout, and they're like, well, yo, next time invite us, next time do this. I'm like, for real? You, the person that I looked up to and I thought should be inviting me, and now requesting an invitation from me. So that it definitely shifted my mindset, and I was more accepting of myself, and I was like, okay, at the end of the day, these people act like, they turn up, but most of the time they're just interacting from, the alcohol and being high. That's where most of the interaction comes from. But they don't really be having people where you can really just sit down and have a proper conversation with. And that's what every human being like really just desires. So it was a very big realization for me, and I think it took away that imposter syndrome. I'm like, so it's not just me. Most of these guys, they're actually pretending like they have everything all sorted out, but they're actually lonely inside, maybe even more lonely than me, the person who is not from this place, because that's where you see most of like, our mental health issues, suicide and all that stuff. I'm like, but it seems like you guys are tired. Like you guys seem to have it all. You have the community, but
and that's the thing. People play face. You see somebody laughing, smiling, but you don't know they're really struggling on the inside. That's why you need to be easy with everyone.
Yeah. So I actually stopped, stereotyping, and that's when I just started having conversation with people. Like, and one thing that I realized, especially about America, the most difficult thing was identifying as a black man. I know that sounds crazy, but not difficult, but a very big adjustment, because for the most part of my life, I was both Zimbabwean. I didn't have to have black attached to my name, because for the most part, everybody looks like you. You're in a community.
Thank you.
So you don't even think that, oh, I'm black. Right, because even the people that are oppressing you, it's not about race, because they look like you too.
Here, you don't have black friends; you're whitewashed.
You see, so it was I was like, oh, now, and automatically there's no person that's gonna see me, and then they're just gonna guess international student. So every stereotype that falls upon a black and African American male, it was bestowed on me the moment that I entered the States, right? And that was another adjustment. I'm like, you're stereotyping me to certain things that I don't even know.
Exactly.
And I had to learn that from the get-go. So it's those small things that would build up. It's those small things that would, just come up. But side note, one thing that I can say is the most difficult about being an international student is life is going whilst you're not there, right? And what brings me to say this is like, it's like you say you grew up with your mom, you grew up with your grandma. They are still together, and you have to live life by yourself. This side. If they lose a family member, they're gonna cry as well. They're gonna mourn whatever it is as one family, and then they're gonna get through that together. But you have to experience the same pain. You have to experience the same hurt by yourself, and you can do nothing about it. So you're literally coming here. You don't know how many years your mom has, whatever it is. It's a big risk. You're missing out on so many things with the hope that I'm gonna have time to make up for it. But anything can happen, and you're like 15,000 kilometers away from home. So that's one thing that people don't really realize. It's a blessing to have your family like a 3-hour drive
30
away.
minutes, 45.
Yeah, like
it'd be like I can catch a $200 ticket return and go see my mom wherever. Here, a ticket return, you have to buy it like in months in advance. If not, it's like $4,000. In which $4,000 can pay your rent, can buy your food, can pay your phone bill, can pay your credit card bill, and all that. But like, yeah. So technically, guys, the last thing I would say is take it easy when you come here. Take it really easy. It's when you go, wherever you go, you'll always feel homesick. But like, take it easy on yourself. Don't try and be something that you're not, and pray. Whether you believe in God, whether you believe in I don't know what you believe in, if you're a Muslim, if you're a Buddhist, whatever you believe in, pray, and take it easy on yourself. I know you're here alone. If you have somebody that you can talk to them. You're allowed to be vulnerable. Me, one of my problems that cause my anxiety is I have this thing of being prideful. I was like, why should I be vulnerable?
She's an independent woman. She's independent.
Why should I be? And that really caused her, like, it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to miss home. It's okay to just feel alone sometimes. But talk about it. It's okay to be homesick because it happens. You are not normal if you're saying you're not homesick. It doesn't make any sense. But try so hard to talk to your loved ones. Try so hard to talk to, and try prioritizing people who care about you like how you care about them.
I need to add something on that. Like for me, I'm not even ashamed to admit it. For the past 3 years, ever since I started my freshman year, I haven't missed a day where I haven't talked to my mom. Like we actually have a conversation every day. I make it a part of my day to always video call if we're gonna talk, even if it's 2 minutes, 3 minutes. How was work? How are you? And we're just speaking in my native language. It just gives me that sense, it grounds me for that 8 minutes, right? Because studies show that if you talk to somebody for 8 minutes, just 8 minutes in a conversation, it makes you feel less alone, right? So that little time that you can have to check up on your loved ones, that little time that you can have, because even if you're not there with them physically, it doesn't give you an excuse not to really be talking to them. It shocks me, and this is not no offense to anybody, when I hear somebody's like, yo, I haven't talked to my mom in 2-3 weeks, or my dad, or oh man, my mom, I haven't talked to her in this. I'm like, I don't think no matter what she has done, you should always, it's not going to change. That person is always going to hold the specific role that they have in your life. So you might as well just make sure you guys are straight, because those are the people that are going to give you that unconditional love, no matter what happens, right? Because these people are going to come and go, especially college. You never know, maybe 6 months down the line, I don't even know who Ria is.
Yeah, those things happen.
But yeah, so just take care of yourself. Mental health is very important.
Don't end up like me, who has to not go to see a therapist because I thought I am not vulnerable. I cannot be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Everybody is strong. Even the strongest of people break.
Yeah, I'm actually considering therapy myself.
You see, Africans have this mentality. Therapy is for white people. Why am I going for therapy? This is for this person. Me, I'm not going for therapy. But go for your therapy. go talk to someone. Listen to me. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Ria Ryder. My Instagram is at Kentuga, Kentuga. My TikTok is Kentugaria, Kentugarhea. If you want to email me, have any inquiries, want to say something, you can email me at rrider, RRIDER at Yahoo. rrider for business at yahoo.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you learned something today. I really hope you did. I hope you learned from our stories. And like, all I have to say is, may God be with you. This is Jaden, also known as Bothwell. What are your socials? Give your socials, please.
Hey, I don't have socials.
Okay, he doesn't have socials.
No, my social is just my first name, Bothwell, BOTHWELL. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's his name, and you'll find him. But thank you so much for tuning in to Ria Talking She. I hope you really loved this beautiful, insightful episode. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, comment. I hope you have a wonderful night. Bye.